What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping back in with some Destiny 2 news. It's technically been a couple of days since I posted a news video, in inverted commas, but Bungie give us a lot of updates regarding the game right now, changes and adjustments they're making. Yes indeed, they've irritated players with the whole not swap thing for the dungeon coming up. They also outline some updates which are coming next week that includes a little bit of additional content, but we'll also talk about a couple of exotic mysteries, upcoming unique rewards, we have another flaming helmet on the way, secret ciphers, and a bunch of other things to talk about. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop us a simple comment down below rating Renegades out of 10. It would super help us out, and I'm curious to get a quick sense of what you guys think. Now though, let's get into it. First up, the Bungie updates. Destiny 2 team said due to an issue, the option to purchase from the Elixir junk vendor at Tharsis Outpost has been increased to 700 and whatever, 7 million something with sevens, until a fix can be deployed. This is because this vendor, or NPC, was able to drop illegal armor with broken stats, and so they basically made it so expensive that no one can actually purchase from them. DMG says, apologies, the team's trying to work out the issue. Once resolved, exchanges will be back down to 100. Obviously, it might affect some players who are still chasing Praxic Blade mods and things. Other things they're looking at is one where players are losing access to Lawless Frontier activities after finishing the campaign. As a workaround, some players are reporting that changing their faction, abandoning the territory war begins triumph and then reacquiring it, can cause the Lawless Frontier activities to reappear, so worth keeping in mind if you are affected by it. They've also disabled Vox Obscura in Pinnacle Ops, and they identify an issue as well, where Renegades campaign activities and Lawless Frontier jobs can default to normal activity. So if you're trying to run a particular activity, it is worth just double checking. I'm guessing that's what affected some players running the whole Legend campaign and then being switched to normal for the last mission, which was a bit of a pain. Other things they've disabled though, the new solo ops on the Typhon Imperator is disabled as it can cause a crash. I actually haven't even played that one yet. They'll also have a fix for a softlock in the coil dropping next Tuesday, and update 9501 will introduce a handful of activities which launch inside of the Portal Fire team up, so Birthplace of the Vile, Arms Dealer, Defiant Battlegrounds EDZ, Warden of Nothing, and Exodus Crash will return. And they point out that with Renegade's launch, some activities in Portal have moved to a weekly map rotation that includes Reclaim, Expedition, and Onslaught. Keep in mind as well, Vanguard alerts will drop next week, which Bungie are saying is their new answer to a Nightfall-style playlist. Finally though, they did correct a selection of available panes in higher difficulty match-made Portal content to fix an issue where players were unable to reach intended score thresholds, so it should be possible to now score higher in those. Another thing Bungie have just discussed though is the launch of the dungeon, which will be next weekend on Saturday. So to get into it, you need to pick up a quest from Orna in the cantina of Tharsis Outpost. Everyone in the fire team will have to have that. Also, a fire team of 3 is needed to launch the activity, and fire team power will be disabled, with players requiring a minimum of 370 power. Also, they will enable not swap for contest mode, which everyone seems to universally hate, but Bungie seem to keep wanting to do it. I don't really know if I'll even be involved in the contest stuff at this point, but yeah, just I don't understand it. So that's the latest thing to irritate everyone. Onto some positives, or content-related things at the very least. As we discussed yesterday, you can earn an exotic bounty in the new order system and the season hub. If you get the Praxic Professional order, that's how we can earn the gold crystal for the lightsaber, and players are saying it seems like you're guaranteed an exotic order after completing between 3 and 5 legendary orders. There are 2 different variants of exotic orders though, so you might not get the Praxic Professional one immediately, but if you happen to get an exotic one in general, you can just re-roll it with Glimmer until it becomes the Praxic Professional one. So again, that's how we get the gold crystal for the lightsaber. Additionally, players are now starting to reach rank 5 with syndicates, and if you're looking for tier 5 Renegades gear, once you hit rank 5 on any given syndicate, you'll be able to buy a +1 tier upgrade from the Spider. Additionally, syndicates can sell weapons with exclusive mods equipped on them once you're at rank 5, so that's something worth keeping in mind. And lastly, just to reiterate, if you didn't run the Legend campaign to pick up the new exotic armor, you may have found these exotic keycards at the end of Frontier completions, and when you use it to open one of the hidden vaults on the Frontier maps, one of the rewards will indeed be the exotic armor pieces. A separate piece of conversation, very briefly, as it often seems to happen at this point, players are discussing player counts going into expansions. And it's been pointed out that Renegades basically achieves a new low in terms of peak players at the launch of the expansion. For the Steam charts, it was around 71,000 on the 2nd of December. And yes, I appreciate Steam charts do not reflect all of the available platforms for Destiny 2, but it does strongly indicate the general trend, right? If you lose 20% of players on one platform, you probably see something pretty similar, not necessarily identical, on other platforms. Now, is this player drop a surprise? And the answer is, well, not really, is it? We all know what's gone on over the last year. I'm not going to go into it right now, but I do think the reality for the foreseeable future is that these kinds of player numbers are simply going to be the new norm. And it is a mixture of Bungie making mistakes and that pushing players away from the game, but also player fatigue, because Destiny has been around for a long time, right? And yes, it is strange, of course, being in an expansion which does a lot of things very well, especially when you compare it to Edge of Fate, but then, of course, Renegades performing worse than Edge of Fate in terms of player numbers. We don't really know at what point this player count becomes a problem for Bungie, but you have to bear in mind as well that Bungie's resource budget for Destiny is clearly lower than what it's been in the past, so while there are less players, Bungie are frankly spending less resources on the game as well, and so we can't really compare where we are now to any other point in time. However, over the next few months, I think we will see ultimately what kind of impact this may have on the future of Destiny 2, so share your thoughts on it down below. A final very quick few mentions here, but we are getting a new Call to Arms helmet for the next event, which isn't until April, but it's another fiery one, as we can see right here. So the existing one essentially gets replaced with a new variant. Other armor you might be interested in, or at least interested to know that it exists. Yes, we are getting Marathon runner ornament sets for Destiny 2. These will be in the Eververse store, and I think there are at least 3 runner sets that'll be introduced, obviously to line up with an announced release date for Marathon, or the release itself, which is incredibly likely to happen in the next 3 months. And for those who hate it, sorry for mentioning Marathon, because that tends to get me in trouble. Just wait till you get killed by a runner in the Crucible. I'm only joking. Actually, am I? Probably not. You'll remember Nightfall Ciphers from in the past though. Bungie did actually say they had a plan for these in the Renegades season, but I don't think they've said anything yet. However, there are also Fireteam Ciphers that have just been added to the game. We can also see Crucible Ciphers and Iron Ciphers, which have to be taken to the respective vendors to get additional loot drops, more than likely linked to the portal in some capacity there. So I'm curious to see what happens, but for today, that's what we have to talk about. I've done quite a bit of coverage for Renegades itself, Syndicates and the Lawless Frontier, the exotic pursuits like the exotic bounty, some of the secrets, and of course, the Praxic Blade, the kind of key pursuits for the game. So if you want to catch up on any of those, I'll link a bunch down below. But I appreciate you all showing your support here on the channel once again. If you've enjoyed this video, a rating really does help us out. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.